I know your Instagram engagement is down. We talked about that a lot. It's been happening all across the board. But still, if you look at the Hype Auditor stats of last year and this year, actually the Instagram engagement has gone up generally. So apparently some people are doing it right. So I took a look at a few of those people and kind of figured out the way to actually that you can use to up your engagement, explode your engagement again to become Instagram famous pretty fast. Of course, no clickbait, like always. No, but really though, I figured out some interesting ways that you can use. So let's get into that. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Dominic, and let's talk about engagement because, it's been talked about a lot, and I kind of get it. Because people, engagement is just down, especially lately, even though the Hype Auditor stats say otherwise in a kind of a way. But still, that's why right now, a huge focus that you should have right now is to focus on your engagement to get this whole algorithm thing back working, get friends with the algorithm back again. Because, if you're friends with the algorithm, you're going to hit it big in terms of engagement. Right. So, of course, as you want to become friends with the algorithm, because, it shows your posts to more people, it shows your posts to more like-minded people that kind of like your content. The first thing and the first step, step zero, if you will, this whole thing actually comes down to having a real audience, of course. All right? And you should always keep that in mind, that it's real people behind the screens, behind the phones, real people that you create your content for. And actually, if you have a real audience, you kind of want to activate them again because either the algorithm said, no, I'm not going to show you anymore, or they're just not interested anymore in whatever you do. So let's just say you post something on Instagram. What do you do? First of all, think about your post, think about your content. And I say that all the time, but still people don't understand it the right way because a lot of the times people think good content is really, really high quality content. And if they go on the explore page, stuff like that, of course, a lot of the times content that does well is really, really high quality, but that does not mean at all that you should go for the same. Because let me tell you why. A lot of the times people refrain from posting a lot, from getting a posting schedule in because they can't keep up with that high quality content, even though that's not necessarily the best thing that you should do. And actually, it's not that important, to be honest, because good content is actually just content that people signed up for. It's content, whatever content you do, whatever content you did, that people hit that subscribe button, of course. And this is why it's really important to have an inch down. This is why it's really important to take a step back, kind of think about what's my core content? What is the content that people actually come here for? Naturally, if you're some sort of photographer that really has high quality content, of course, fortunately, whatever you want to go for. But for example, there's a lot of accounts that I see, accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers that just post iPhone pictures. They don't have depth of field going on. They don't have all the flashy stuff. It's just pictures of them with some caption that lets people relate. So yeah, naturally try to have your posting schedule up at least 3 to 5 times a week if you really want to max this whole thing out. And then kind of think about your post. Is that really something that people signed up for? Is that really something that people want to see? Or is it just something that you kind of want to put out for some internet likes or pats on the back? So really think about that. Really put yourself in the shoes of your audience. And naturally, a post consists of 2 things. First of all, the picture that we talked about right now. And second of all is the caption, which is something that a lot of the times people forget. And I kind of did a video about it a few weeks back. Quick recap. What should your caption be about? Actually, your caption should be like a one-on-one conversation with some of your friends, with some of your followers, in some sort of a real way, in some sort of a way that people can relate to. The easiest way to actually do that is to think about you and your best friend. You text with your best friend on WhatsApp or email. I don't know, MySpace, no. You text with your best friend. What kind of language do you use? What kind of flow are you in when you text with your best friend, for example? Kind of think about that. Kind of try to take the same principle and take it over to your posts. Really try to have it flowing as easy as possible. Actually kind of don't make it too overly complicated. Just try to have a flow. Just try to have a really easy and simple conversation. And maybe, for example, whenever I post something on Instagram and people ask me all the time, oh man, how do you craft your awesome captions? I just sit down and whatever comes to my mind, I just write down my thoughts exactly as they appear in my head. Sometimes that might be a little bit weird, but it's actually really relatable. At least that's what people tell me. So really try to nail that down. So you got your post, you got something that people actually signed up for. You got your caption that's kind of relatable, plus ideally entices some sort of interaction, entices at least likes or comments. Comments obviously are a lot more important than likes. Now it's time to think about when to start posting, because I tell you how it is, posting time actually still matters. It matters more than you think, and you kind of max out that time when people are online, when you actually post. So don't just throw it up somewhere randomly. Again, try to put yourself in the shoes of the people who follow you. First of all, where are they based? For example, in my case, a lot of the people are based in the United States, even though I am here right now in YouTube in Vienna. So I kind of always have to factor in the time difference. When are the people online the most? Of course, there's some apps for that, although I kind of would refrain from using the apps, those apps, or at least be a little bit careful when using those apps. You never know, especially with Instagram now, with this whole engagement thing, with blocking certain actions. So you really want to watch out what you use, what you connect to your Instagram account right now. But you can actually just use your own analytics app within Instagram. It actually tells you when you have a business account or a creator account. It actually tells you when are the most of your followers online, what day, and it tells you for each day specifically when are they online the most. So kind of go from there. Of course, try out a lot of things, test out a lot of things, and just keep going from there. Speaking of testing, actually, another point is to test out types of content that you put out there. It could be that in your specific case, selfies work the best with your audience. Your audience just loves when you put some selfies. Could be something else. But, just putting up one post or two posts at some weird time, and then you don't have that many likes and stuff like that, and then saying, okay, the algorithm sucks, engagement is kind of low. It doesn't count like that, okay? You really have to test out stuff. Make a different kind of spin on a picture, a different style of image, a different style of caption, and then test from there on. And you're gonna see what really works and what really doesn't work, and then go from there. In terms of posting times, usually what I notice across the board, in the morning, right before people get to work, right around lunchtime when people are at lunch breaks or something like that, and in the evening, that's when it really works the best. Across the board. Of course, it could be different for your specific channel or Instagram channel page, but across the board, I notice these kinds of things, and of course, it makes a lot of sense because most people are in some sort of job. They kind of commute to somewhere, so naturally, when they're commuting somewhere, they're on their phone. They're trying to hit up Instagram, go into Instagram. Same goes for the lunch break. Same goes for their commute back home, or at the evening when they're back home. So you got your caption, you got your post, time down. Now it's time for something that we thought was dead all along, but it actually helps you tremendously. I figured that out lately, actually, that hashtags, my friends, work really well back again if you know what to do. So let me tell you what you have to do in terms of hashtags. And years ago, I actually developed a strategy, or actually figured a strategy out, or used a strategy to kind of be able to know when I rank for hashtags. And it's kind of stopped working, but I figured out it started working again. It's just a little bit more nuanced. So first of all, you kind of make a list of super relevant hashtags. And this is so important, my friends, because the algorithm, it takes a look at your niche, your photos. It takes a look at what's in there. There's some alt text that you could put in there yourself, but still there's some image recognition software, and they kind of know what's in your photo. And then what you kind of want to do is analyze those hashtags. How many posts do they have? How many likes do they have in general, or on average within the top 9 posts? What's the minimum amount of likes that people have on the top 9? What's the maximum amount of likes that they have? Some other stuff, for example, something that we call daily average post count. It's basically something that shows you, how many posts are there in general. For example, 10 million posts within a certain hashtag. Plus, then you want to see, okay, daily average post count, how many people actually post on that hashtag daily. Of course, if there's a high number of hashtags being posted, but a low number of daily average posts, this ups your chances really, really big time of ranking in the Explore page. Of course, if you factor in the other things, for example, usually people get between 300 and 1,000 likes in the top 9 posts, for example. If you know all that, you can make a list of all these hashtags, group them together from low to high, kind of step your way up. And you kind of know with your average amount of likes and comments, you pretty much surely rank on that hashtags. You post them there. So that's kind of like your first chunk. Then you up your way into the second chunk. So some bigger hashtags. Because if you rank in the smaller ones, you also rank in the bigger ones, because that naturally gives you some sort of boost if you rank in the smaller ones. And then kind of step your way from there. If you don't want to do that yourself, I actually use a very, very new tool, but really handy tool called Hashtastic. I hope that's the right name. It's actually a pretty new tool. I've linked it down in my description somewhere down below. And basically, it lets you search for hashtags. It lets you, search for viral media. It actually lets you filter all those important metrics and help you out big time. And I actually went from just a few hundred, maximum a few hundred impressions per hashtag. And I talked to some people who actually managed to get up to 200,000 impressions from a small channel just by using hashtags correctly. So, link is down in the description. I think you can try this whole thing out for free. Don't quote me on that though. So, definitely factor in those hashtags. Big time, big thing nowadays. And lots of people forget about that. So you got it all together. You got your post, all the things that you have together. And now it's actually time to post that mother. But actually, no, my friends. There's something that a lot of people forget, actually most people forget, and that ups your chances massively to get lots of more engagement, which is go to your comment sections of all of your posts, try to find some posts that you have not responded to, and just like them, give them a heart, respond to their comments, just get them to get yourself on the radar again. Do that about 10, 20, 30 minutes before you actually post. So people actually get a notification from you. They actually see, okay, this is you. Interacting with them. Just try to, you trying to get yourself on their radar again. Then you post. You'll see this will actually drive a lot more people to your page, drive a lot more people to your post, upping your chances of more engagement again. Lots of people forget that really, really crucial step to actually get that 5%, which sometimes it's needed to, grow a little bit more than usual. And, last tip here for upping your engagement a lot is, once you post, don't just post and go away. You'll post, go in your car, drive away. Don't think about your post anymore. No. Actually, first of all, you can try to put a story up with your post saying, okay, here's my new post. Usually I don't do it because I kind of think it's spammy. If you find a way to do it in a way that it's not that spammy and you can try to do it. It will, depending on how much traffic you have, it will help you out. But still, as soon as you post, try to be active in your comment section. Try to be active on Instagram in general. Try to be active within those hashtags that you used in your post, and comment on their posts. Comment on other people's posts that use the same hashtags, because you just want to have your eyeballs back on you. Reply to any comment as soon as you have that, as soon as you get that, as soon as you see that. Because I feel like the first hour, the first 45 minutes to an hour is actually very, very important for the algorithms to see what's going on, how are people coming there, stuff like that. Of course, don't use engagement pods, stuff like that. You should know that. Anyway, if you keep these tips in mind, my friends, you'll up your chances by a lot of, first of all, hitting the Explore page. Second of all, just upping your engagement gradually. The biggest part here, in my opinion, is actually your content. Is your content really something that people sign up for? So for example, maybe you got lots of followers a year ago, you got a spike of new followers a year ago, then it kind of started stalling and slowing down, and you're like, I don't know what's happening. But maybe just try to go back a year ago when you saw those many, all these new followers coming in. Maybe you did some different kind of content. You never know. It could even be some small things that you do differently than what you did before, and people might be like, yeah, this is actually not what I signed up for. And this is actually, I think, one of the most important tips here to up your engagement. Anyway, my name is Dominic. Use these tips, up your engagement. Tell me how that worked out for you in the comment section. If you're new here, by the way, we talk about social media strategies.